As Ontario and Quebec gradually lift public health restrictions, many pandemic-weary citizens are hoping another lockdown is not in our future. That hope is being balanced with knowing pressure has to be reduced on our healthcare system. So some experts are now saying advancements in COVID-19 treatments might be the way forward. Joining us this morning is infectious disease expert Dr. Zain Chagla. Good morning. Welcome back to the show.
Hi, good morning.
Several provinces are now slowly ramping up the use of monoclonal antibody therapy for high-risk patients. You, in fact, are leading a pilot program that offers this treatment at St. Joseph's in Hamilton. What is it, more specifically, and how effective is it?
So when we get vaccinated or infected with COVID-19, one of the responses for our body is to make antibodies. A number of companies have taken a look and said, okay, what are the best antibodies to prevent, virus from entering your body or virus from causing damage, and really just synthesize them in the lab. So when given to high-risk patients early, we have basically a shortcut to the immunity we would get with either a vaccine or having a prior infection. And when given to high-risk patients in clinical trials, we see a 70 to 80% reduction in hospitalization. So we've been giving this as an intravenous infusion now for about 3 months. We've had remarkable effects for people who have been treated with these therapies. And it gives us an extra layer of protection. Vaccines are going to be important. We know people need to be vaccinated, but there are some people who don't get vaccinated. And there are some people who have vaccine because of their immune system and their history will not take as well. And again, these therapies offer a really great solution to make sure that those people have a really benign outcome and recover very well at home.
And just for clarification, doctor, so once you are symptomatic, that's when you would take this?
Yeah, so we typically try to administer these. The issue is we have to administer them early. So people need to get tested early in order to access these therapies. They're available all over the country, but they need to be tested early. They need to know they're in a risk group where they can have access to this. They're given the intravenous infusion either in a hospital or an emergency room or even through paramedics. And again, once it's administered, their recovery as long as it's administered within 7 days, the recovery is actually quite good.
There is a new antiviral pill that we were talking a lot about a few weeks ago, Paxlovid, that was recently approved by Health Canada. We have it. It is in short supply, as is the antibody therapy. So when will these treatments become more widely available?
Yeah, I mean, they're here now, and we certainly have prescribed a few courses of Paxlovid as well. Again, they're the same kind of indications for patients at high risk, patients where a vaccine may not produce as much of an effect, patients who have not gotten vaccinated, who are at high risk of complications. Canada has about 30,000 courses. Some of that has gone to the provinces. And so again, important. It's even more important that people get tested now who are in those risk categories, because this one needs to start within 5 days. But certainly the provinces have access to this now. A lot of programs are just starting to roll out, if not have started rolling out. And again, offers hope for people that are at high risk, that if they get tested early and can access these therapies, especially in remote communities, which is one of the benefits of having an oral therapy, that they can have a benign outcome and recover very quickly.
The vaccine rollout was a big turning point in this pandemic. Is the rising use of therapeutics the next turning point? Is that our way forward that we keep hearing about?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, again, 2 or 3 doses of vaccines in the right people will prevent hospitalizations. And having a vaccine in your system as a healthy person or person without immune problems is much better than having one of these therapies in your system. We know your body, when it's trained to deal with COVID-19, can deal with the severe complications. But again, we do know there are people who choose not to get vaccinated. There are people with immune deficiencies. There are people who are at high medical risk, even despite vaccination. And they're overrepresented in the healthcare system. So as long as we build systems to make sure that these people have access to treatments very quickly, we mitigate much of that risk. And again, this is cost effective too. These drugs, a single hospitalization for COVID-19 is about $23,000. An ICU admission is $53,000. As long as you can run health systems that are able to support this for under that cost, it means the health system saves money. So there's going to be huge benefits if this is realized correctly.
We talk a lot about learning to live with COVID. We hear that phrase over and over in these last week or so. Is this part of that?
Absolutely. Look, I don't think we're going to get COVID infections to zero. There's no way. And then with Omicron, I think it really did change things. There's modeling from Ontario that suggested 10 to 30% of people were infected in the last 2 months. And so, again, targeting treatment to patients who are at highest risk of hospitalization, using that as a way to make sure healthcare is preserved, is going to be the way forward. We're going to have more therapies that come to the market over the next few months. It's really exciting that we can actually offer people this. And again, as these scale up and we can capture the highest risk patients better and better, it means that, again, we can mitigate the worst, especially for our vulnerable people in society.
Sort of meet both needs there. Keep businesses open, keep the hospitalizations low. Dr. Chagla, always great to have you. Thanks for making time this morning.
No problem.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.